Parthasarthi Radha, Parthasarthi Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Jaya Hanuman, Sita Ram Lakshman Jaya Hanuman. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschat Deshetarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. 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 Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Guru Charana Padma Keval Bhakti Sadma. श्री गुरु चरण पद्माम केवल भक्ति सद्माम मंदमोई सावधान माते मंदमोई सावधान माते यार प्रसादे भाई एव भवतरिया यार प्रसादे भाई एव भवतरिया कृष्ण प्राप्ति होए जहाँ होइते कृष्ण प्राप्ति होए यहाँ होइते गुरु मुखम पद्मवाक्या चित्ते करिया क्या गुरु मुखम पद्मवाक्या चित्ते करिया क्या और न करिहा मने आशा और न करिहा मने आशा श्री गुरु चरण रति ऐसे उत्तम गति श्री गुरु चरण रति ऐसे उत्तम गति ये प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा ये प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दिलो ये जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो ये जन्म जन्मे प्रभु से ही दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशिता, दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशिता, पूर्ण भक्ति जहाँ है ते अविदा विनाश्यते, प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ है ते अविदा विनाश्यते, वेद गाय हरे चरिता, हो वेद गाय हरे चरिता, श्री गुरु करुण सिंधु अदम जनार बंधु, श्री गुरु करुण सिंधु अदम जनार बंधु, लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना, लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना,
कौन लिखा है?
प्रभु करो दया दे मोरे पाद छाया, प्रभु करो दया दे मोरे पाद छाया, बेयास घोषित भुवाना, बेयास घोषित भुवाना, प्रभुपाद पतित पवाना, प्रभुपाद पतित पवाना, जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा, जय प्रभुपदा, नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपष्टाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी इति नामिने, नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे, निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात दिश कारिणे, श्री कृष्णं चैतन्यं प्रभु नित्यानंदा, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा, प्रभु नित्यानंदा। हरे कृष्णा Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Radha, Parthasarthi, Radha, Parthasarthi, Radha. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Ram Lakshman Jaya Hanuman. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Lord Premanande, Jai Om Nitya Leela Parvishto Ashtotar Sat Shijwan Vesh Abhay Charnamin Jagat Guru Shil Prabhupada Ki Jai. Iskcon founder Swarya Hindwan Gates Abhay Charnamin Jagat Guru Shil Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Nitya Leela Parvishto Ashtotar Sat Shijwan Vesh Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. श्री गौर किशोर बाबा जी महाराज की जय, सच्चिदानंद भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ बाबा जी महाराज की जय, रामाचार्य दास ठाकुर की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद की जय, वर्तमान आचार्य विंद की जय, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, पतित पावन चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय, मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय, नाम की जय, गौरताई भगवान की जय, सीता पार्थसारथी की जय, सीताराम लक्ष्मण की जय, गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि. All glories to Sammal Devotee, Hare. All glories to Sammal Devotee. All glories to Sammal Devotee. All glories to Guru Gurunga Jagat Guru Prabhupada की जय.
हमारे गुरुदेव के चरण कमल ही एकमात्र साधन है जिनके द्वारा हम शुद्ध भक्ति प्राप्त कर सकते हैं. मैं अत्यंत भक्ति एवं श्रद्धा पूर्वक नतमस्तक होता हूँ. उनकी कृपा से जीव भौतिक क्लेशों के महासागर को पार कर सकता है तथा कृष्ण की कृपा को प्राप्त कर सकता है. मेरी एकमात्र इच्छा है कि उनके मुख कमल से निकले हुए शब्दों द्वारा अपनी चेतना को शुद्ध करूं. उनके चरण कमल में अनुराग ऐसी सिद्धि है जो समस्त मनर्थों को पूर्ण करती है. वे मेरी बंद आंखों को खोलते हैं तथा मेरे हृदय में दिव्य ज्ञान भरते हैं. जन्म जन्मांतरों में मेरे प्रभु हैं. वे प्रेमा भक्ति प्रदान करते हैं और अविद्या का नाश करते हैं. वैदिक शास्त्र उनके चरित्र का गान करते हैं. हे गुरुदेव, हे प्रभुपाद, करुणा सिंधु तथा पतित आत्माओं के मित्र, आप सबके गुरु एवं सभी लोगों के जीवन हैं. हे गुरुदेव, हे प्रभुपाद, मुझ पर दया कीजिए तथा मुझे अपने श्री चरणों की छाया प्रदान कीजिए. आपका यश तीनों लोकों में फैला हुआ है. जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
हरे कृष्णा. सबका हार्दिक स्वागत है प्रातःकालीन प्रवचन में. आज 3 विशेष प्रवचन श्रृंखला के भाग में हम सुनेंगे. पहला, हिज होलिनेस भक्ति विज्ञान गोस्वामी महाराज की मुखारविंद से सुनेंगे. फिर उसके बाद हिज ग्रेस क्रतु प्रभु और फिर उसके उपरांत हिज ग्रेस पृथु प्रभु. इन तीनों के मुखारविंद से हम सुनेंगे श्री राम जी के दिव्य लीलाओं के ऊपर और आज क्लासेस चलेंगे 9:30 तक। उसके उपरांत जितने भी वरिष्ठ वैष्णव हैं उनके लिए प्रसादम की व्यवस्था है गोविंदास रेस्टोरेंट में। बाकी सबका हमेशा की तरह नीचे प्रसादम हॉल में। हिज होलिनेस भक्ति विज्ञान गोस्वामी महाराज परम पूज्य श्री राधानाथ स्वामी गुरु महाराज के शिष्य हैं और पहले प्रथम रूसी भक्त हैं जिनको संन्यास प्राप्त हुआ था। ऐसा कोई इसके पहले कोई नहीं था। और उसके उपरांत वो इनिशिएटिंग गुरु भी हैं, जीपीसी के सदस्य भी रह चुके हैं 2017 साल तक और अधिक समय ब्रज में रहते हैं। और हमारा परम सौभाग्य है कि महाराज जी के गहरे चिंतन के आधार पर जो उनके साक्षात्कार हैं सुन सकते हैं। श्री भक्ति विज्ञान गोस्वामी महाराज की। प्लीज स्विच ऑफ योर मोबाइल्स, पुट देम ऑन साइलेंट मोड। कृपया उसको साइलेंट मोड पर रखें मोबाइल्स को या बंद करें। श्रील प्रभुपाद की।
ओम नमो भगवते वसुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वसुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वसुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रयस्वबादृषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया। भगवत्युत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। यं प्राव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातरा जुहाव। पुत्रेति तन्मयतयो तरवो विनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। We're reading today Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Scheduled Incarnations, text number 24. Yasmai Adat Udadhih Udhabhaya Angavepaha Margam Sapadi Aripuram Haravat Didhakshoho Dure Suhrit Mathita Rosha Sushona Drishtya Tatapyamana Makara Uraga Nakra Chakraha Yasma Adadat Udadhir Udhabhaya Bhangavepam Yasma Adadat Udadhir Udhabhaya Bhangavepam Margam Sapad Aripuram Haravat Didhaksho Margam Sapad Aripuram Haravat Didhaksho Dure Suhrin Mathitarosha Sushona Drishtya Dure suhrin mathitarosa sushona drishtya. Tatapyamana makararaga nakra chakraha. Tatapyamana makararaga nakra chakraha. Yasmadatu dadhirudha bhaya angavepo. Margam sapatyari puram haravadidhaksho. Dure suhin mathitarosha sushona drishtya. Tatapyamana makaroraga nakra chakraha. Somebody else? Nada. Yasmai, unto whom Adat gave Udadhihi, the great Indian Ocean, Undhabhaya, affected by fear, Angavepaha, bodily trembling, Margam, way, Sapadi, quickly, Aripuram, the city of enemy, Haravad, like that of Hara, Mahadev, Didhakshoho, desiring to burn to ashes, Dure, at long distance, Suhrit, intimate friend, Mathita, being aggrieved by, Rosha, in anger, Sushona, red hot, Drishtya, by such glance, Tatapyamana, burning in heat, Makara, sharks, Uraga, snakes, Nakra, crocodiles, Chakraha, circle, Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The personality of Godhead, Ramachandra, being aggrieved for his distant, intimate friend, Sita, glanced over the city of the enemy, Ravana, with red-hot eyes, like those of Hare, who wanted to burn the kingdom of heaven. The great ocean, trembling in fear, gave him way because its family members, the aquatics, like the sharks, snakes, and crocodiles, were being burned by the heat of the angry, red-hot eyes of the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The personality of Godhead has every sentiment of a sentient being, like all other living beings, because he is the chief and original living entity, the supreme source of all other living beings. He is the Nitya, or the chief eternal amongst all other eternals. He is the chief one, and all others are dependent many. The many eternals are supported by one eternal, and thus both the eternals are quantitatively one. Due to such oneness, both the eternals constitutionally have a complete range of sentiments. But the difference is that the sentiments of the chief eternal are different in quantity from the sentiments of the dependent eternals. When Ramachandra was angry and showed his red-hot eyes, the whole ocean became heated with that energy, so much so that the aquatics within the great ocean felt the heat, and the personified ocean trembled in fear and offered the Lord an easy path to the reaching the enemy's city. The impersonalist will see havoc in this red-hot sentiment of the Lord because they want to see negation in perfection. Because the Lord is absolute, the impersonalists imagine that in the absolute the sentiment of anger, which resembles mundane sentiments, must be conspicuous by absence. Due to a poor fund of knowledge, they do not realize that the sentiment of the absolute person is transcendental to all mundane concepts of quality and quantity. Had Lord Ramachandra's sentiment been a mundane origin, how could it disturb the whole ocean and its inhabitants? Can any mundane red-hot eye generate heat in the great ocean? These are factors to be distinguished in terms of the personal and impersonal conceptions of the Absolute. As it is said in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Absolute Truth is the source of everything, so the Absolute Person cannot be devoid of the sentiments that are reflected in the temporary mundane world. Rather, the different sentiments found in the Absolute, either in anger or in mercy, have the same qualitative influence, or, in other words, there is no mundane difference of value because the sentiments are all in the absolute plane. Such sentiments are definitely not absent in the Absolute, as the impersonalists think, making their mundane estimation of the transcendental world. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Yasmadat udadhir udha bhaya anga vepa margam sapadadi aripuram haravat didhaksho dure suhrin madhitarosha sushona drishtya tatapyamana makaroraga nakra chakraha. the personality of Godhead Ramachandra, being aggrieved for his distant, intimate friend Sita, glanced over the city of the enemy, Ravana, with red hot eyes like those of Hare, who wanted to burn the kingdom of heaven. The great ocean, trembling in fear, gave him way because its family members, the aquatics like the sharks, snakes and crocodiles, were being burnt by the heat of the angry red-hot eyes of the Lord. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhe Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yontah pravishya mama vacham mamam prasuktam sanjeevayate kila shakti darak swadham nanyamscha hasta charana shravanat vagadim pranannamo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam Svasyastu vishvasya kalach prasidatam deyantu bhutani shivam vithodiyam anascha badram bhajata tadokshaje aveshyatam no matirapyahaitu ki. So Srila Prabhupada explains in this wonderful purport that God is personality, and personality means sentiments, personality means emotions, personality means desires. Srila Prabhupada was pleased his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, by making an offering for his Vyasa Puja, and he wrote a poem which was very much appreciated by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and the first line of this offering was, Absolute is sentient. He is sentient being, and therefore he has desires, therefore he has emotions, therefore he has all range of different activities which are very difficult to understand from the impersonal point of view. So these two concepts of personal and impersonal are diametrically opposite to each other. And therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami in his Tattva Sandarbha, he specifically emphasized one verse from Mahabharata, where Srila Vyasadeva says, Itihasam Puramabhyam Vedas Sam Upabrimhayet. The Vedas are not complete in themselves. The Vedas don't give the complete conception or the complete understanding of the absolute truth. This is a shocking news for all us followers of Vedic culture. But Vedavyas knows better. He knows what is Vedas and what do they give, what they can give, and what they do not give. So Srila Jiva Goswami, explaining this verse, he says that Vedas are being completed by Itihasas and Puranas. Why? What is the completion? What is the completeness? What is the contribution of Itihasas and Puranas into the Vedic conception? The contribution is that Supreme Personality of Godhead is a person. Absolute truth is a person, which you will not be able to understand if you study Upanishads and Vedas. You will be completely bewildered by Upanishads and Vedas, and ultimately you will come to an impersonal conclusion. But when you study Puranas, it will be very clear that Supreme Personality of Godhead has red hot eyes. The absolute truth in an impersonal conception cannot have red hot eyes. He cannot have eyes at all, because eyes means roop, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead can have eyes, no problem for him, many eyes, and he can have red hot eyes. And it means that he can have the sentiments, it means that he can have desires, it means that he can have emotions, and he basically can have everything else. And here Srila Prabhupada explains that there is a slight difference between us and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can boil the whole ocean by his red hot glance. We cannot boil even a glass of tea if we want. You know, we can be as angry as we want and we try to stare at the glass of water, there will be no effect on the water. So, but basically there is another very important difference which we have to understand, that the motivation for these sentiments, for these emotions are also quite different between us limited living entities living in this world and the Supreme Lord. Why the Supreme Lord became so angry? We have to understand, while trying to understand the emotions which are being described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to try to understand the motivations behind these emotions. Why our emotions are contaminating? Why impersonalists try to deprive the absolute truth of his emotions? Because they know that the human emotions is the manifestation of our incompleteness. We manifest anger because we want something, because we miss something. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his anger is motivated by love. Our emotions, including calm, lust, anger, greed, and all other emotions, the complete range of emotions which we experience, are motivated by our incompleteness. And incompleteness creates envy. I am incomplete, and if I see somebody is enjoying something which I cannot enjoy, it creates some bad feeling in my heart. And this bad feeling is completely opposite of the love. And my emotions are ultimately driven by envy. But when we see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when we hear his pastimes, we have to understand what is the basis of his emotions. The basis of his emotions is love. He feels so much love to Mother Sita, who is in Lanka, and he is standing there just in front of Lanka. And here is this ocean, and he is thinking that he is all supreme, and he is, he is deciding the way what to do, what not to do. And in this way, Lord Ramachandra manifests his anger, which is based on his extreme love and attachment. And again, his love and attachment is not because of something is lacking in him. His love and attachment is only because he is full in himself, and his fullness of his heart manifests as the love. Not the lust which we manifest because something is lacking within our heart. So that's the teaching which Lord Ramachandra and Lord Krishna are giving by coming here as persons and manifesting this. And we have to really understand their teachings. But there is a great difference between Lord Krishna and Lord Ramachandra. They both want to teach us how to love. They both want to bring us to this completely elevated and wonderful state of self-abnegation, when we don't remember about ourselves, when we are ready to sacrifice anything for the pleasure of somebody whom we love, for the pleasure of God, when we completely forget about ourselves, about our petty interests, about our ideas and desires and everything, we just want to please Him. So that's a very elevated stage, and definitely Lord Krishna brought this message to us, which is the core message of Srimad Bhagavatam. But before Lord Krishna came, Lord Ramachandra came. And he is also teaching the same thing. Different avatars, when they come to this material world, they don't teach different things. Their message, their mission is one, to teach us how to love, how to get rid of this contamination within the heart, which forces us to act selfishly. That's the greatest contamination, the greatest dirt within our heart. So both Ramachandra and Krishna teach us, but they teach differently. Lord Ramachandra says that before you will be able to experience love, you have to get rid of your capricious nature, of your nature which forces you to fulfill your desires. And therefore he is Maryada Purushottama. He says, discipline. You want elevated love, no problem. That's a very noble and worthy aspiration. But before, you have to be disciplined. Before, you have to follow the rules and regulations. And therefore, also in the path of Krishna consciousness, first is Vaidhi Bhakti. Sometimes our acharyas, they distinguish between the path of Vaidhi Bhakti and the path of Raganuga Bhakti. Yes, Raganuga is the goal, but before we reach Raganuga, we have to purify our heart, our consciousness. We have to broaden our consciousness by strictly following the discipline. In Ramayana, there is a beautiful story. There are two beautiful stories which I want to describe in connection with one episode of Ramayana, which actually teaches us what does it mean, love, in the understanding of Lord Ramachandra. He does want us to give this impression of love, how beautiful love is. The Lord himself forgets himself. He forgets that he is the Lord. When Lord Ramachandra is wandering in the forest and completely in tears, he forgets, because love gives him such a pleasure within the heart, that to experience this love, he forgets that he is the Lord. You know, that's why he had Lakshman next to him. Lakshman, his main service was to remind, you're the Lord, don't worry. That was again and again during Ramayana. There is some lilies happening, and Lord Ramachandra becomes emotional, and Lakshman behind his back saying, you know, don't be so emotional. You're the Supreme Personality of God. We will solve this problem. So don't worry too much. So, but in any case, when Lord Ramachandra is wandering in the forest, he does not want to remember that he is God. He does not want to remember that he is God, because this remembrance will be a hindrance for his love. He wants to forget that he is the Lord. He wants to just love Sita Devi. And that's the proof that love is the highest, because even God forgets about his position of God for the sake of love. So that's the teaching of Ramayana as well, and that's the teaching of Srimad Bhagavatam and Krishna's life. But you know, Krishna's life from the very beginning, he's very spontaneous, and ultimately that's what we should learn: how to achieve love by serving somebody who has this spontaneous love. The way of us acquiring love is the way of service to somebody who has love. If somebody has love and we serve him, like Gopal Krishna Maharaj, he has such an intense love to Srila Prabhupada. It's the extent of his love and attachment to Srila Prabhupada is difficult to explain. But if we serve him, the reflection of his love will be reflected in our heart, and his love will come to our heart. But before we will be able to serve in a proper way, we have to discipline ourselves. Before we will be able to serve completely selflessly, we have to experience the pleasure of service by following the rules and regulations. And therefore, Maryada Purushottam, he comes first and then he teaches us how to follow Maryada, how to get rid of our capricious or lusty nature. Because we have this lust, before we somehow or other get our lust under control, we will not be able even to appreciate the notion of service. We will not be able even to appreciate how beautiful it is to serve somebody selflessly and then, as a result, experience these elevated feelings of love. So, these two little stories which I want to describe in this class, which has to finish within 6 minutes. One of them is the story. This microphone doesn't have discipline. He doesn't follow the rules and regulations of service. So when Lord Ramachandra, Lakshman and Sita Devi, they were wandering in the forest, at one point they came to the forest of Dandakaranya. And when they came to the forest of Dandakaranya, they were terrified by the very glance of this forest. The forest was really horrible. There were so many dry trees and, hardly anyone was inhabiting this forest. So Lord Ramachandra asked, what is the story of this forest? Why this forest is so deserted? Why nobody wants to live in this forest? Why this forest is so ferocious? And the story was told about Dandaka, who had a very elevated background. Dandaka, on his name, the forest was called, was the son of Ikshvaku, and Ikshvaku was the son of Manu Maharaj. Manu Maharaj had his great kingdom, and he had his son Ikshvaku, and Ikshvaku had 100 sons. And Lord Ramachandra himself, he is from Ikshvaku's dynasty. But the youngest of these 100 sons of Ikshvaku Maharaj was Dandaka. Danda. His name was Danda. And his Danda was very undisciplined. He didn't want to follow the discipline. He didn't obey his superiors. He didn't like his elder brothers. Like in Mahabharata, we can see the ideal example of Pandavas who are all obedient to Yudhishthira Maharaj. This is the beginning of discipline. The beginning of discipline is irrevocable respect to the superiors. If somebody who is superior to me says something, I don't really, discuss his orders. He said it, I do it. We can see, like Lord Ramachandra himself, his father told him, you should go to forest. And he said, yes, my father, no problem. In Valmiki Ramayana, it is said that not even one muscle moved when he heard this order of Dasharatha Maharaj. He was supposed to be crowned as the king. He comes to have a good news that he is going to be crowned today. Dasharatha Maharaj looks at him. He can't even pronounce this. And Kaikeyi says, yeah, he is not so well this morning by some reason. So I will tell you what he wants you to say. And Kaikeyi says these cruel words. And it is said in Valmiki Ramayana that at that time Ramachandra, he gloomed. He became happy by hearing this order. He says, oh, this is a difficult order. By following this order, I will show that I am sincere, that I will follow this discipline. So what happened in this particular case of Dandaka, of Danda, and the son of Ikshvaku Maharaj, he was very undisciplined, and therefore he was expelled from the kingdom of Ikshvaku Maharaj. And he came to this place and he established his kingdom in this place, and there was a beautiful capital in this kingdom, and he had his guru, Shukracharya. Of course, who else would be guru of such a person? And it's a very risky business to become a guru of such a person. Because if such a person becomes your disciple, you are in trouble. Because he is not going to follow your orders. He is only disciple in name, because the Vedic culture so strongly emphasizes the need of guru, So this Dandaka, for the name's sake, he accepted guru as Shukracharya. And he went to the forest hunting. And while hunting, he came to the ashram of Shukracharya. And before entering the ashram of Shukracharya, he saw the beautiful daughter of Shukracharya, Araja. And when he saw this beautiful daughter of Shukracharya, he didn't even think twice. He just wanted to fulfill his lusty desires. And he raped her. And as a result of this rape, this violent rape which he did with this beautiful girl, Shukracharya cursed Dandaka and cursed this whole forest. So that's a very important lesson for all of us, a very important lesson of the whole Ramayana. The calm lust is the curse upon us. And the calm lust makes our heart deserted of all elevated feelings. Our heart is like this Dandaka forest, which is horrible. If we want to invite the elevated feelings of love, which are very subtle and very important for us to be happy, we first have to get rid of this lust, because otherwise the love will not enter into our heart, which is deserted. Nothing will be able to live within our heart which is full of lust. We will only try to fulfill our selfish desires, and ultimately we will be deserted. Ultimately we will be lonely. That's the very important lesson of Ramayana. And while wandering in Ramayana, I have to finish now. Shall I? 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes. Because it's connected with this. While they were wandering in the forest, these 2 stories, they are connected in a poetic way between each other. Because ultimately that's what Ramachandra wants to teach us in all his leelas. How to achieve love by first following very strict discipline. So while wandering in this Dandaka forest, they met a ferocious demon. And this ferocious demon, very lusty demon. Only the ferocious demons can inhabit Dandaka forest. Because it's cursed. And we are being cursed by our nature, by the predominance of calm within our heart. So this demon was there, and he started laughing when he saw Ram and Lakshman, and he said, "Oh, I see you are ascetics. You are living in this forest, you're wearing the bark of the trees, and you have a beautiful woman with you. Oh, really nice, very nice. So I will punish you guys. I will grab this beautiful woman, and she will become my wife." And he was huge. He was like, really big. And he said, "Don't worry, I will size myself down to make you my wife." So anyway, he grabbed Sita, and in this moment, and his name was Virada. It's a very interesting, from this etymology of this name, Virada means devoid of love. Radha means love. Radha means unreserved service. Radha means the desire to serve and to give everything up for the sake of somebody whom I love. She is the best worshipper. And he is Virada. He is somebody who doesn't have any love. Vigata Radha iti Virada. So he is Virada. And therefore, he is there. And he's showing by this story that, he just wants to grab somebody. He wants to grab, other's wife and enjoy other's wife. And he says, you go from here. I will forgive you. And Lord Ramachandra became very emotional again in this story. He says, Lakshman, what happened to us? Now Kaikeyi will be really happy. The purpose of her sending us to this exile will be fulfilled today, because this ferocious demon will eat Sita Devi and will eat us. And he became, and Lakshman from the back said, don't worry, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. and this Virada said, I'm inconquerable. Nobody can kill me, because I have a boon from Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma told me that I cannot be killed by any weapon. So, and Lakshman says, no problem, we will deal with this. don't worry. So anyway, so the story goes that they started shooting arrows at this Virada demon, because they want to kill lust within our heart. And that's why they are killing these demons. By killing these demons, they are killing lust within our heart. And Virada, he understood that something is serious going on, so he let Sita go, and then he grabbed Ram and Lakshman. He grabbed Ram in his right hand, and he grabbed Lakshman in his left hand. And, he's holding them, and he's huge, and they're relatively small. He's holding them in his hands, and Sita started crying. And Sita said, oh, please, let them go, don't do anything for them. They're showing, when Ramachandra saw that Sita is in trouble, he was ready to sacrifice himself. When Sita saw that Lord Ram is in trouble, she started pleading to this demon, please let him go, take me, do whatever you like with me, but let him go. So that's love. And as opposed to this, there is this Virada demon who is grabbing Lord Ram, and Lakshman is really angry. Lakshman is, Lord Ramachandra was angry in this episode of Ramayana, but Lakshman was always angry. That was his bhav, his mood, because he wanted to protect Lord Ram. So his predominant mood was anger. So he became so angry, he said, you cut his right hand and I will cut his left hand. And Lord Ram started cutting his right hand, and it took him a long time to cut his right hand. He was working hard, and Lakshman cut his left hand, and ultimately this demon, he's still alive, because he could not be killed by any weapon. And he's asking, who are you? And Ram says, I am Ram, the son of Dasharatha. And this is my brother Lakshman, and this is Sita. And in this moment, this Virada started crying, and he said, oh, finally you came. Okay, I will teach you how to kill me. Finally you came because you want to give me love. Finally you came to my life because you want to give me love. You want to destroy my wicked nature. And while crying, he said, you just bury me alive. You just put me in the ground. I cannot be killed by any weapon, but I can be killed if you put me into ground, no problem. Just do it. And he gave some prediction, and so on and so forth. So they put him into the ground, and from the ground, the beautiful Gandharva Tumburu appeared and said, thank you very much for helping me to get rid of my Rakshasic nature. So that's why we're celebrating Lord Ram. He has come to our life to help us to get rid of our Rakshasa nature, of our lust and anger. and to achieve real love, which will be the main driving force of our life. So, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj ki. We're grateful, Maharaj, for this wonderful lessons on how we have to overcome our capricious nature to develop the ultimate love of Godhead. We seek your continuing association and regular visits, which have been pending for some time. Please do keep coming, Maharaj. Thank you very much. It's a great privilege now to hear from His Grace Kritu Prabhu. Kritu Prabhu is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He's an initiating guru, and he was the temple president when this temple was inaugurated in 1998. So we'll be happy to hear from Prabhuji, and after His Grace Kritu Prabhu, we'll be hearing from His Grace Prithu Prabhu, who is also Srila Prabhupada's disciple.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute. Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrinda Vaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu vyayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन इति नामिने
नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। So looks like I am okay. So I'll read Skand now, Abhyas Adhyay 10 and Slok Sankhya 11. We'll shorten our prayers, Bhagavatam prayers, because time is short. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. So, Skand 9, Adhyay 10, Slok Sankhya 11. श्री रामचंद्र ने सॉरी फॉर माय ओल्ड एज, श्री रामचंद्र ने जंगल में प्रवेश किया और लक्ष्मण भी कुटिया में नहीं थे। उस समय दुष्ट राक्षस रावण ने विदेह राजा की पुत्री सीता देवी का उसी प्रकार अपहरण कर लिया जिस प्रकार गडेरिये की अनुपस्थिति में बाघ किसी अनुरक्षित असुरक्षित भेड़ को पकड़ लेता है। तब श्री रामचंद्र अपने भाई लक्ष्मण के साथ जंगल में इस प्रकार भटकते रहे मानो कोई अत्यंत दुखी व्यक्ति अपनी पत्नी के वियोग में गुम रहा हो। इस प्रकार उन्होंने अपने व्यक्तिगत उदाहरण से एक स्त्री आसक्त पुरुष की दशा प्रदर्शित की। परपोर्ट थोड़ा सा लंबा है तो मैं कुछ आधे परपुट से ही पढ़ता हूँ। प्रत्युत वे सच्चिदानंद विग्रह ज्ञान और आनंद के शाश्वत रूप हैं श्री रामचंद्र। इस प्रकार उनमें आध्यात्मिक आनंद के समस्त लक्षण पाए जाते हैं। उनमें सात्विक, संचारी, विलाप, मूर्छा तथा उन्माद सभी अवस्थाओं के लक्षण प्रकट होते हैं। इसलिए वह भगवान श्री रामचंद्र सीता के वियुक्त हुए तब ये समस्त आध्यात्मिक लक्षण प्रकट हुए। श्री भगवान न तो निराकार हैं न शक्तिहीन, प्रत्युत वे सच्चिदानंद विग्रह है, ज्ञान और आनंद के शाश्वत स्वरूप है। इस प्रकार उनमें आध्यात्मिक आनंद के समस्त लक्षण पाए जाते हैं। अपने प्रियतम से वियोग का अनुभव भी आध्यात्मिक आनंद ही है। जैसा कि श्री स्वरूप दामोदर गोस्वामी ने बताया है, राधा कृष्ण प्रणय विकृति आह्लादिनी शक्ति अस्मात्। राधा कृष्ण की प्रेम लीलाएं श्री भगवान की आह्लादिनी शक्ति के रूप में प्रस्तुत की जाती हैं। श्री भगवान संपूर्ण आनंद के मूल स्रोत हैं, संपूर्ण आनंद के स्रोत हैं। इस प्रकार भगवान श्री रामचंद्र ने आध्यात्मिक तथा भौतिक दोनों ही प्रकार से सत्य का प्रदर्शन किया। भौतिक दृष्टि से जो मनुष्य स्त्री से आसक्त होते हैं उन्हें कष्ट मिलता है, किंतु आध्यात्मिक रूप से जब श्री भगवान तथा उनकी आह्लादिनी शक्ति में वियोग भाव उत्पन्न होता है तो भगवान का आनंद बढ़ जाता है। इसकी आगे व्याख्या श्रीमद् भगवद गीता 9:11 में हुई है। अवजानन्ति मां मूढ़ः मानुषीं तनुम आश्रितम परम भावम जानन्तो मम भूत महेश्वरम। जो व्यक्ति पूर्ण पुरुषोत्तम भगवान की आध्यात्मिक शक्ति को नहीं जानता वह उन्हें सामान्य प्राणी मानता है, लेकिन श्री भगवान के मन, बुद्धि तथा इंद्रियां कभी भी भौतिक परिस्थितियों से प्रभावित नहीं होती। स्कंद पुराण में इसकी विशद व्याख्या मिलती है, जिसका संदर्भ माधवाचार्य ने दिया है। वस्तुतः रावण द्वारा सीता का अपहरण करना असंभव था। रावण द्वारा हरी गई सीता देवी का मायामय भ्रामक रूप था। जब सीता की अग्नि परीक्षा हुई तो वह मायामयी स्वरूप भस्म हो गया और वास्तविक सीता अग्नि से बाहर आ गई। इस उदाहरण से एक और शिक्षा यह मिलती है कि इस भौतिक जगत में कोई स्त्री कितनी ही बलवती क्यों न हो, उसे संरक्षण प्रदान किया ही जाना चाहिए। अन्यथा जैसे ही वह असुरक्षित होगी तो वह रावण जैसे राक्षसों के द्वारा शोषित की जाएगी। इस श्लोक में आया हुआ वैदेह राज दुहितरी शब्द सूचित करता है कि भगवान श्री रामचंद्र से विवाह होने के पूर्व सीता अपने पिता वैदेह राज द्वारा सुरक्षित थी और विवाह हो जाने पर उन्हें अपने पति का संरक्षण प्राप्त था। अतः इससे यह निष्कर्ष निकलता है कि स्त्री की सुरक्षा सदैव होनी चाहिए। वैदिक नियम अनुसार स्त्री के स्वतंत्र असक्षम होने की संभावना नहीं है, क्योंकि वह स्वतंत्र रूप से अपनी रक्षा नहीं कर सकती। श्रील प्रभुपाद की। तो रामायण ये आदर्श ग्रंथ है। स्त्री, एक आदर्श स्त्री, आदर्श राजा, आदर्श भाई, आदर्श पुत्र, आदर्श सब आदर्श रामायण में प्रस्तुत है। रामायण ये हिस्ट्री है, इतिहास। महाभारत इतिहास तो वैदिक साहित्य है, वेदों का एक भाग है इतिहास। तो यहाँ श्री रामचंद्र जो कि पूर्ण पुरुषोत्तम परमेश्वर भगवान श्री कृष्ण ही है, जैसे कुंती महारानी कहती हैं माया जवनिका आच्छन्नम, आप माया रूपी पर्दे से आच्छन्न हो वही एक पुरुष, पूर्ण पुरुषोत्तम परमेश्वर, परात्पर, परब्रह्म एक है। पर्दे के पीछे एक है, पर्दे के आगे अनेक है। जैसे कुंती महारानी आगे कहती है श्लोक में कि यथा नाट्य अथा नट नाट्य धरो यथा, जैसे पर्दे के पीछे एक नट है, कलाकार एक्टर, तो वो है कृष्ण, उनका ओरिजिनल मूल स्वरूप। और पर्दे के आगे गरीब का वेश कर बना के जब एक्टर आता है तो हमारे समझ में नहीं आता है कि ये कौन है, लेकिन है वही ओरिजिनल नट एक्टर। तो गरीब बन के आता है तो गरीब दिखाई देता है, राजा बन के आता है तो राजा दिखाई देता है, जैसा वेश वैसा दिखाई देता है आगे, पर्दे के आगे, जवनिका के आगे, लेकिन पीछे वही सदैश्वर्य पूर्ण परमेश्वर भगवान श्री कृष्ण। तो ये रामचंद्र का रोल कर रहे हैं और आदर्श प्रस्तुत कर रहे हैं। मैनकाइंड, सब मनुष्यों के लिए आदर्श, एक सुंदर आदर्श प्रदर्शित कर रहे हैं एक्टर के रूप में। तो रामचंद्र भगवान यहाँ आदर्श पति का रोल निभा रहे हैं तात्पर्य में। तो इसीलिए वो दुखी हो गए, खिन्न हो गए जब सीता का हरण हुआ। तो लगता है कि भगवान दुखी हो गए। मैं छोटा बचपन में मैंने सुना गुजरात में लोग स्टूपिड लोग हैं तो बोलते हैं कि न जान्यू जानकी नाथे काले सुथवानु छे। मतलब कि जानकी नाथ कृष्ण रामचंद्र भगवान ने पता नहीं चला कि कल अभिषेक होगा कि वनवास होगा। तो ये नास्तिकों का कथन है। भगवान सब कुछ जानते हैं, क्या रोल बजा रहे हैं वो भी जानते हैं। उनको ये भी पता है कि सीता जी किडनैप होगी और कहाँ रहेगी, कैसे रहेगी, सब कुछ पता है। भूत भविष्य एवं वर्तमान पता है, वो भगवान है। लेकिन यहाँ मनुष्य, मैनकाइंड, मनुष्यों के लिए एक आदर्श प्रस्तुत करना था। तो इसीलिए भगवान रामचंद्र सामान्य मनुष्य की तरह रो रहे हैं और क्रोधित हो रहे हैं और कहाँ है सीता, कहाँ है, पागल की तरह वो अपना बिहेवियर, जैसे चिकन विदाउट हेड। रामचंद्र भगवान सबको पूछ रहे हैं कहाँ है सीता, कहाँ है, जानते हैं कि सीता कहाँ है, लेकिन एक रोल प्रकट कर रहे हैं, नहीं तो फिर रामायण बनेगी नहीं। अगर ये रोल नहीं करे, ऐसा एक्टिंग नहीं करे, तो रामायण हमारे लिए एक आदर्श जो रामायण में बताया वो प्रकट नहीं होगा। तो भगवान यहाँ हर भाव, सात्विक भाव, संचारी भाव, विलाप कर रहे हैं, मूर्छा, उन्माद, ऐसे वीर के भाव प्रदर्शित कर रहे हैं। क्रोध, विभत्स रस, वीर रस, सब रस का आगार है। रसिक शेखर कृष्ण परम करुण, यही दुई हेते इच्छार उद्गम। तो ये इच्छा का एक उद्गम, उनकी इच्छा है, इसलिए लीलाएं कर रहे हैं। लीला का अर्थ है आनंद करना और आनंद करवाना। तो यहाँ ये भावों में आनंद कर रहे हैं भगवान। सात्विक भाव, सात्विक भाव का आनंद, सात्विक भाव में बहुत आनंद है। सात्विक भाव में लगता है वो रो रहे हैं, आंसू, 14 आंसू रो रहे हैं, लेकिन वो हर्ष के आंसू है, वो जानते मैं, लेकिन प्रस्तुत कर रहे हैं वार्म आंसू। तो सात्विक भाव, सात्विक भाव सत्व गुण है एक्चुअली, लेकिन प्रभुपाद जी लिखते हैं सात्विक, संचारी और सात्विक दोनों ऑलमोस्ट एक भाव है। संचारी भाव के अनेक भाव है, लाइक 30 सम भाव संचारी भाव। सात्विक, अष्ट सात्विक भाव, नयनम गलदश्रुधारया वदनम गदगद रुद्धया गिरा पुलकई निचितम वपु कदा। ये सात्विक भाव है। नाम ग्रहणे हमें सात्विक भाव का अनुभव करना चाहिए। तो ये संचारी भाव, सात्विक भाव, विलाप, मूर्छा, उन्माद। उन्माद कहाँ है? सीता। पेड़ों को पूछेंगे, पशु पंछी को पूछेंगे, सीता कहाँ है, सीता कहाँ है। उन्माद जानते हैं, सब कुछ जानते हैं, लेकिन पूछ रहे हैं, एक्टिंग। तो भगवान की क्रिया मुद्रा जानी या न बुझाए, वैष्णव क्रिया मुद्रा जानी या न बुझाए। शुद्ध वैष्णव और भगवान श्री कृष्ण की लीलाएं जानना मुश्किल है, इसलिए प्रभुपाद जी परपोर्ट में लिखते हैं आगे कि हमें इन लीलाओं के सही ढंग से जानने वाले विद्वानों से जानना चाहिए। कथाकार, प्रोफेशनल कथाकार के प्रभुपाद जी डेड अगेंस्ट प्रोफेशनल कथाकार, और रोएंगे भी कथा करते हुए, और वॉइस चोक हो जाएगा, लेकिन अंदर नास्तिकता भरी हुई है, भरी पड़ी नास्तिकता। भगवान को भगवान की तरह नहीं प्रस्तुत करते, सही ढंग से प्रस्तुत करना चाहिए। वो हमें इस्कॉन में ही मिलेगा, क्योंकि बाहर कोई किसी को यथारूप शास्त्र नहीं पढ़ते, न यथारूप ज्ञान लेते, न यथारूप ज्ञान को प्रस्तुत करते हैं यथारूप। इसलिए हमारे धर्म में ज्यादातर मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग है, ज़्यादातर। तो मेरी 1 मिनट ऊपर हो गई। His Grace, His Holiness पृथु प्रभु, पृथु महाराज, तो इनको हम No, it's okay. It's okay. I want to give him time. Thank you very much. I am not a Ramayani. I just tried whatever humble I could. So thank you very much. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, His Grace Prathu Prabhu ki, God Premanandi.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हिज ग्रेस कृतु प्रभु। उनकी कृपा से आज हम और विशेष सात्विक भाव, संचारी भाव, इनके बारे में भी हमने देखा कैसे रामायण में इनका वर्णन आता है। और परम सौभाग्य भी है कि प्रभु जी के अध्यक्षता में ही इस मंदिर का उद्घाटन हुआ था। आज इसका 25वां वार्षिक पूरा हो रहा है। इसी सिलसिले में उत्सव चल रहा है, उसमें प्रभु जी के मुखारविंद से हमें सुनने का अवसर मिला। थैंक यू अगेन हिज ग्रेस कृतु प्रभु। प्लीज कमिंग बैक होम हियर रेगुलरली एंड गिविंग अस योर एसोसिएशन। इट्स अ ग्रेट प्रिविलेज फॉर अस टू हियर फ्रॉम हिज ग्रेस पृथु प्रभु। Unfortunately, we could not schedule things properly. Prabhuji has been very kind. He's been here for the last few days. We really wanted to schedule his lecture early, but we kind of took him for granted because he's our Prathu Prabhu. So somehow there were other devotees who were leaving, so we had to schedule them first. So it's a good fortune now to hear from His Grace Prathu Prabhu. And don't be surprised with anything you hear, because he is known for his wonderful incidents and pastimes that he has realized in this movement of Srila Prabhupada. And we'll hear about Ramayana and Lord Rama's glories from His Grace Prathu Prabhu.
Somebody can play Midranga, please. Midranga, Carlos. Only Prabhupada beats, you know. Only Prabhupada beats. Prabhupada beats. Yes, Prabhupada beats. Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, 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 Jai Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, 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 Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Come on. Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Sita Ram,
Jai Ram, Sita Ram. Jai Ram, Sita Ram. Jai Ram, Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Jai Ram, Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Jai Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Sita Lakshman Man. Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram. Come on. Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram. 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 Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram. Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur. Nitai Gaur Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur Hare Bol. Nitai Gaur Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur Hare. The Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premananda. Better leave it here, and I need my computer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Very auspicious time, namely appearance of Lord Ramachandra. I
very much liked the presentations of the speakers so far. Wonderful also yesterday, Devakinandans. Huh? Yesterday also Devakinandan was speaking wonderfully. Mahaman, very wonderful. Ramkatha, I was in awe when I heard the detailed description of, I was surprised. I was not only in awe, I was surprised to hear such detailed description of the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. It was an ocean of nectar, an ocean of information. So I want to add something to that in a small way, because our time is limited and everybody is looking forward to eat prasadam. I want to focus on Ram's example of righteousness. We know that Ram appeared particularly to set this example as an ideal king. Volume? As an ideal king. We know that in these days in which we are living particularly, that example is very much needed. That example of righteousness of political leaders. We are living in a very degraded world where immorality is the standard and it's accepted. I mean, just to give you an idea, the bishop is supposed to be celibate. But there is a word nepotism. Does anybody know what that word nepotism means? That you favor somebody in politics, you put your brother into charge as a minister for communication, your uncle in charge for the minister of family, etc. Nepotism. It comes from the idea that it is understood that although the bishop claims to be celibate, he has many children, illegitimate children. And officially they are called the nephews of the bishop. Everybody knows that they're illegitimate, but because of it is conventional, it is understood that sadhus are not sadhus in Western world. They're posing to be sadhus, but they're immoral. The immorality has been institutionalized, and everybody talks about the nephews. Yeah, he has many nephews. Very, very honorable. So Lord Ram is just the total opposite to that. The total opposite. He sets the example for morality, and even if there is a little doubt, he immediately reacts to that, even if the doubt is unreasonable. Like when Sita was kidnapped by Ravana. After Sita was liberated, we all know the story that a doubt rose in the heart of Ram. Ram's heart was torn. He deeply wanted to show his love for Sita to take her home at once, but he feared public censure. As a king, he wanted to set the highest example for the people. Sita had been in the house of another man for almost a year. Whatever the circumstances, that would surely be criticized by some people. Questions about her chastity may be raised. That would never be acceptable for the wife of an emperor. How can I take her back to the house? So you see, the sentiment on such a high level, man is glorified since time immemorial for such a high level of morality. If there's a slight doubt, nowadays people are glorified for their immorality or their less moral antics. Sometimes the fame of the chief minister of Bihar has reached even Germany. Everybody in Germany knows about the Fodder scandal. And people want to make a film about it, to glorify the activities, not the activities of Ram, the activities of materialism, gross materialism. So it's just the opposite, the complete opposite to material life. And Ram came to set this example. We know, of course, that Sita was untouched. Not only do we understand this by logic, reason, argument, what we heard from scripture, Ravana was cursed, actually. Ravana, he violated the wife of Ramba. which is her name was Ramba. Her name was Ramba, and she was the wife of Nalukavera. Nalukavera and Managriva, we know the story. The two who took birth as trees. A son of Kuvera, the richest man in the universe at that time. And so he was cursed by Nalukavera that if you ever force yourself upon a woman, your head will be burst into 7 pieces, according to Valmiki's Ramayana. That was a curse there. So that's why this was an extreme lusty demon, but he refrained from actually violating it. He waited and waited for Sita's love. Somehow or other tried to coax her, trying with dance, with music, with so many ways he tried to subdue her so that she would volunteer to him. Because he couldn't force himself according to this curse. So Rama, he said, how can I, my character has become suspect. Ravana had Sita in his arms, his lustful eyes were resting, and then he said to her, therefore my attachment for you has ended, please go wherever you may desire. That was, imagine Sita is, after all this ordeal, and she finally gets the message that Ram has come to free her. Ram speaks these words. How then can I take you back to my house? Your good character has become suspect. Ravana clasped you in his arms and looked upon you with lustful eyes. Therefore my attachment for you has ended right now. Please go wherever you may desire. It's such a drama. It's such a shock for the world and for Sita especially. So she was crying and said, my prince, to Lakshman, please prepare the funeral fire. I want to go in the fire. And of course we know the story. She entered the fire. Ram didn't object. Lakshman was boiling in anger that he had to pay this. So he prepared the funeral fire and she entered. And of course the fire god brought her back and she was unblemished. So in this way Sita's purity was certified by the fire god himself. So later even Brahma actually came and protested to Ram, how can you do this? And after all this what we went through, you don't do anything to avoid her entering the fire. So Ram was steadfast, because he wanted to show that the king has to be beyond doubt. Has to be beyond doubt. Otherwise, people follow a bad example. People are always looking for the bad example. If somebody doing something bad, people follow this. Finally, we found something. Finally, and we can lower our standard. So, in the same way, at a later stage, Ram asked his friends, when they were in Ayodhya, what are the people of Ayodhya talking about their king? Oh, Bhadra, please tell me everything good, even bad, without hesitation. Then this friend of Ram said, oh great king, your people are very pleased with you. They praise you for your valor and your victory over Ravana. They wish for prosperity of you and your family. But there are few things to consider. They say, you should not have built a bridge and passed over the sea god, which is an offense. Number one. Second, how could he kill Ravana? He was a Brahmana. Why did he do that? You see, fault finding is not an invention of the 20th century. People were finding fault like this. Whenever there's a possibility, they find fault, fault finding. As old as Adam and Eve, people find fault. So why could we, then he said, your decision to accept Sita after they stayed with Ravana for such a long time is an issue with people. So then Ram decided, hearing this, he said, it cannot be. And he asked Sita the second time, he banished her, this time to the forest, namely to stay with Valmiki, How can a person stay with a woman whose purity has been stained? First, Ravana forcefully abducted Sita, kept her in Lanka for his entertainment. People were saying a righteous king must fulfill his duties under all conditions. So that's the example of a pure Kshatriya, even if it is inconvenient. Remember, in Bhagavad Gita, I asked myself many times this question for many years. Why would Krishna call the activity of Arjuna, who was full of compassion for his relatives, an impurity? He said, how can this impurity come upon you? They don't behave somebody who knows the values of life, the Kshatriya Dharma. So I couldn't understand it. But then somebody explained to me, he said, imagine you're a policeman, right? You're representing the state, the powers of the state. So you see your uncle breaking into a shop. What do you have to do? You cannot say, well, he's my relative, how can I, I have to be compassionate, this is my uncle, etc. You cannot. He has to arrest him. If he doesn't arrest him, the superintendent of police will find out. He said, how can these impurities come upon you that don't behave a policeman who knows the higher values of life? Very clear, you see. So it's very clear cut that Arjuna was veering. Of course, this is all lila ultimately, but he was veering in Bhagavad Gita from the path of getting into a danger zone, and Krishna immediately corrected him and said, don't do that. You have to fight. And then after Arjuna heard the instruction of Krishna, said, now my illusion is gone by your mercy. Very important point. Krishna's mercy, illusion is gone. We are an illusion. That illusion can only be dispelled by Krishna's mercy. We have to do our best. That's a fact. But Krishna needs to do the rest. Otherwise we are not going anywhere in our spiritual life. These are the principles we have to follow. So Arjuna was moved by compassion, not to fight, but ultimately Krishna corrected him, because a king, the Kshatriya, has to be ideal in his activities, sticking to Dharma, whatever it takes. Which is not what we do in Kali Yuga. We don't follow. People don't follow Dharma. There's Dharma for men, there's Dharma for women, there's Dharma for Brahmins, there's Dharma for Brahmacharis, Kshatriya. There's Dharma for everybody, but people don't, particularly in the West. Particularly in the West. I talked to one lady in a temple one time, and in America, of course, America's America is different from everything else because America's America. And so I talked with her and I said to her, what you say is not what Prabhupada says. Where's your love for Prabhupada? What was the answer? I love Prabhupada, but I don't like what he says. I said, what are you doing here? You should get out. She said, why? Because Prabhupada said, don't keep bad cows. He said that, don't keep bad cows. She was very insulted. But that's a fact. That's a fact. We have to boil the milk down. Such nonsense must never be tolerated. Krishna's opinion is final. No other opinion is allowed. That's a fact. As simple as that, you see. So in the West, everything goes, basically speaking. So Ram was not like this. He set the example of perfect righteousness, and we find solace in this righteousness of Ram by hearing Ramayan, hearing the name of Krishna, the name of Ramayan, by a process of, so to say, osmosis, association. We achieve qualities, spiritual qualities, by hearing Hare Krishna mantra. We are associating with Krishna by hearing Srila Prabhupada. We are associating with Srila Prabhupada. By hearing, we achieve higher qualities, and so it's important to hear about the glorious, magnanimous, chivalrous, and magnanimous pastimes of Lord Ram. As far as magnanimous, there's a story that Vibhishana, he approached Ram 2 times. One time he was always criticizing Ravana and saying, why you're keeping a saintly woman in your home? You abducted her. This is adharma. And so after he, many times, every time he spoke up, right in front of Ravana. So finally Ravana became so upset, he jumped from his asana and kicked him into the rear end, publicly, and said, get out, leave my kingdom. And so Vibhishana came to Ram and said, I want to surrender unto you. Please accept me. The monkeys and the leaders of the monkeys became very disturbed. He said, Ram, be very careful. He may be a spy, he may be an undercover agent. Be very, very careful. Right? And Ram told them the following story. That there was a hunter, and he tried to kill a tiger. He shot an arrow, and the arrow went through the ear of the tiger. The tiger was outraged. He ran after the man, the hunter. The hunter climbed up, rushed up a tree. Tigers don't go up trees, leopards do, but not tigers. So he jumped up the tree. There was a bear there. And the bear said, what do you want here? This is my tree, get out. He said, please, I surrender unto you. Please protect me. Give me shelter. And the bear said, well, that being the case, you're my guest. So after some time, the hunter fell asleep. The tiger was waiting. He talked to the bear. Throw him down. If I can eat him, then you can go, because the bear was also hiding on the tree from the tiger. He said, throw him down, then you can go. The bear said, how can I do that? He took shelter in me. I cannot do that. Next, what happened is, the bear fell asleep. And the tiger said, now to the human being, to the hunter, throw the bear down. If you throw him down, I will eat him and you can go. So the human being was such a corrupt, despicable person that he threw the bear down. And the bear, in the last moment, he kept the branches, swung himself up into the tree and said, what happened? What's going on here? And the tiger said, just see. When I asked you to throw down the human being, you said you have to give him shelter. Now see this despicable human being. And I asked him to throw you down, immediately obeyed. Throw him down now, I want to eat him. The bear said, I can't do that, because he took shelter in me. So then Ram said, in the same way, whoever takes shelter in me, I will always protect. Under all circumstances, even if he treats me roughly, I will accept him. This is the glories of Ramachandra. I heard this story by who was it? Can't remember right now. In any case, then there's another story which shows how magnanimous and chivalrous Ram is. And I will end with that now, in time, that Vibhishana again, he came to Ram after Ravana was killed. And he said, my lord, I have a question. What is the actual reason that you killed Ravana? What is it? There must be a deep reason behind it, not just the external reason. Is it because he abducted Sita? And Ram said, no. That he abducted Sita, I can forgive. He was so magnanimous that even if somebody puts Ram through the grinder, going to the forest, his wife being abducted, all these troubles, fighting, so many monkeys became killed. So magnanimous, he said, no, that he abducted, I can forgive this. Such forgiveness, unheard of in human history. Somebody can be so forgiving, He said, but that he came in the form of a sadhu to abduct Sita. I have to kill him. For that he has to be killed. There's no forgiveness. Very important lessons to learn. That hypocrisy was completely averse to Ram. any type of hypocrisy. So these are the lessons we can learn from Ram. And I will stop here right now. Prasadam is coming. I thank you so much. I hope you learned something. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, go Premananda Hari Hari.